Well, I've probably calculated over the last 30-something years, I've probably nearly 100 games I've been to. Everywhere we go, as soon as you're wearing black, people come up to you and speak to you because New Zealand becomes very popular as soon as you mention you're a Kiwi, and then you mention the All Blacks, and always people say, well, we love the All Blacks. Well, my name is Paul Single, and I currently live in Hamilton and with my wife, and all our children and family live there too, so we're quite lucky with that. But I'm originally from the Hawke's Bay, Napier. Early off when I was young, obviously me and my brother, back in the days, they had the Ranfurly Shield. They still have the Ranfurly Shield in New Zealand, and we used to sell calendars when I was a kid, between 10, 11, 12, 13. So every weekend we'd go to the rugby and sell calendars. So that gave me my love for the rugby, because after we sold the calendars we could go and watch the rugby, and the Ranfurly Shield was very important in those days. It was a big thing. Then obviously we got into the All Blacks, and I never really got to many All Black games until I got into my 30s, to be honest. I obviously always watched them on TV. I mean, anywhere I was, I'd have my daughter or my son or my wife watching the rugby. I mean, but yeah, it was when we went to live, you can't beat live. Well, I've probably calculated over the last 30-something years, I've probably nearly 100 games I've been to. Most years it's probably 2 or 3 games, but some years I've got 5 or 6 games. And it's been a fantastic, I think I've been 7 different countries where I've watched them. I've done Scotland, France, Wales, Italy, London, obviously New Zealand, Australia. And it's special, it's always special to be there and be part of them. And, you know, as I say, each one holds an individual warmth in my heart, and travelling with my wife has always been with me to make sure that I behave myself. That's been a big part of it, so she's been to all the games I've been to, so that's really important too.
But guys, this is a ground that creates tremendous atmosphere.
By travelling all the games over the last 20 or 30 years, everywhere we go, as soon as you're wearing black, people come up to you and speak to you, because just in general, Kiwis and New Zealanders all throughout the world are well loved. And I just think that helps the All Blacks, and it just shows where the All Blacks are. We are a small nation of just over 5 million people. New Zealand becomes very popular as soon as you mention you're a Kiwi, and then you mention the All Blacks, and always people say, well, we love the All Blacks. They talk about the haka, which is a fantastic thing that we love as a country. Haka is part of our history of life, and when they perform that, they're performing it for the country. And it is quite emotional for people in New Zealand to see that haka done in front of the rest of the world. With our family, we've got a son and a daughter. My daughter's not overly too keen on rugby, but she obviously sends a lot of, when I'm overseas travelling, a while back I was in Greece or in France, Portugal, she will put it on the iPad and screen it right through to me so I can get it. But my son is the strongest one in the family, and he's still playing rugby now at 45, believe it or not. And he's got 3 boys, and I actually have a lovely photo of the whole 4 of them together in the same rugby uniform. You think I'm mad about rugby? He's completely off the rail. I mean, he has a whole big shed at home, like a man cave, and it's a setup of all rugby stuff. So he is completely crazy, and it'd be a great thing to see those 3 boys become like the Barrett boys, because watching them yesterday, what a great bond to see 3 out there. And I see the father was down there watching them yesterday, and I'm sure my son would love to be a proud father one day to see his 3 boys, but I doubt whether that'll ever happen again in the history of rugby, but who knows. I did play from the age of 8, 9 up till I was 17, 18. Then when I joined the fire service, I played for the rugby team. We have a New Zealand national team, so I played that probably 7 or 8 years. I really enjoyed that. Again, a lot of comradeships, and I've still got a lot of very good friends that are a big part of my life through playing rugby with them in New Zealand. Back in my days, my dad was a volunteer firefighter. Then my brother joined when he was old enough, in his early 20s, so he joined up, and I ended up doing a 5-year apprenticeship as a builder. So I learnt my trade. Then I decided, well, if it's good enough for my brother, since prior to me joining up, my dad had died, because I was only 15 when my dad died, so he died quite young. And so we wanted to tribute that to Dad, so my brother joined up, and I joined up.
Outline, chasing it, good. Take to the middle, over the ball.
Working as a team is a very important thing in anybody's life. If you don't have the right team and don't do the job properly, nothing ever gets done. The All Black culture has been built up with the manner of so many years to be a great All Black. Even when they're kids, everybody wants to be an All Black. So that becomes a really team thing. And just meeting the team yesterday, you can see the love in the team. So being part of the fire service, you can't be a good firefighter if you don't rely on the love of your mates. I mean, in our job, it's very important to make sure that everybody's got your back, or otherwise, I mean, anything could happen. So team is a very important thing to me.
Family on three. 1, 2, 3.
So many legacies. I mean, you could ask me who my favourites are in the way of rugby, and Jonah Lomu, by far, is well outstanding as a performer on the field and off the field. I mean, he was a man that just brought warmth everywhere he went, and that's where the culture of the All Blacks came. But I guess if there's one legend that is probably my favourite is Richie McCaw. To me, over the years, that guy's God. And I mean, even now, he's doing so much for the country at home in New Zealand. And but when he played, everybody felt Richie McCaw was out there. What a great, outstanding rugby player. And yes, everyone is great in the All Blacks team, but sometimes it can only be one great. And to me, Richie McCaw was the greatest.